Hi everyone, it's Monica Taylor from Taylor Made Cards for You. Well, Mother's Day is just around the corner, so I thought it would be fun to create a Mother's Day card using one of the collage papers from the Tim Holtz Idea-ology collection. The collage paper currently comes in 4 designs: Floral, which is what I'm using on my card, Aviary, Botanical, and Plain. So to begin, I covered the white cardstock with some Alchemy acrylic paint. And the colors that I'm using are the Metallique Light Patina and the Opal Magic Violet Green. I really like using the Alchemy acrylic paint for my cards. When I am using it on my cardstock, it dries fairly quickly, so it doesn't take much time to move on to the next step. And also, it gives it that metallic sheen, so when your card is finished, your background does have that nice glow, which is great. All right, so the next thing that I did was to add the collage paper. And the collage paper comes in a roll like I'm showing you right now, and you get about 6 yards. So you have a lot of paper to work with. The height is almost 6 inches, so you could easily do an A2 card, but if you were wanting to cover a 5x7 card, it might fall a little bit short. The tissue paper tears fairly easily, so I easily just tore a piece off and I got some really nice jagged edges. Now to adhere the paper, I am using Distress Collage Medium, and I'm just using a regular Mod Podge brush. Now again, this is tissue paper, so you have to be fairly careful when you are adhering your collage medium to it, because you could easily tear the paper if you had too much moisture. But just take your time, you should have no problem at all adhering it. All right, so once I was finished adding my collage medium to the tissue paper, I wanted to add just a little bit more texture to my card. So I decided to use my Tim Holtz stencil called Tiles, and I'm using some white texture paste from Ranger. Now, if you've never used texture paste before, it is really light and fluffy, and it has good consistency. So it's not too runny, and it can easily be adhered to your card through a stencil. Now, one thing you have to remember is that, again, this is texture paste, and once the paste dries, it will become hard. And that's not only on your card, that's going to be on your palette knife as well as your stencils. So you do want to make sure you do have a cup of water or a wet washcloth to clean off your tools right away. And then once you finish adding your texture paste, your stencil will easily lift straight up. Now you could easily put your card aside and let the texture paste air dry, but I wanted to move a little bit faster, so I decided to use my heating tool. Now, as I'm showing you now, sometimes there is some excess texture paste on your craft mat, and that's still really good paste to use, so you can easily just scrape it up and put it right back into your jar. All right, so once I have my working area cleaned up, I went ahead and brought out my heating tool, and I dried the texture paste, and I did also run it over my tissue paper just to make sure my surface was nice and dry. All right, so to add a little bit more color, I am adding some of the powdered Lindy's Magicals. Now, Lindy's Magicals come in not only the powder form, but they're also liquid forms out there as well. So all I did was sprinkle some of the powder onto my cardstock and then spritz it with my Distress Spritzer. And then I held the card up so the water would drip through my texture paste. Now that's really why I like using these little tiles on my cards when I am working with the Lindy's Magicals, because it makes some great crevices, and then the water will just kind of go through them and it looks really cool. And I really like the fact that it's very random. I just let gravity do the work when I spritz the water, and I just let the water run wherever it will run. Now for the right side of the card, I did want to find something that I could layer over both my texture paste as well as my tissue paper, and I wanted it to complement the tissue paper. So I was able to find some great flowers off of the Botanical ephemera set from Tim Holtz. And then I'm gluing down the flowers using my Glossy Accents. Now I know Glossy Accents isn't a glue, it's usually used on top of items to make them glossy, but the Glossy Accents is very strong and it has a really nice tip. So I do often use it as a glue on some of my items that are just a little bit thinner. And then finally, I wanted to add one more piece of accent, and I wanted the accent also to work as an adhesive. So I used one of the washi tapes from the new Tim Holtz collection, and this collection is called Elementary. And it does have a lot of brown tones, but there is one piece of tape in there that has some blue in there, and I used it to not only accent the card, but to help hold down the flowers as well. So once the washi tape was adhered, I thought it looked a little bit muted and I wanted something else just to make it pop. So I decided to add this thin piece of black washi tape just to give it a little bit more accent. Okay, so at this point, I am ready to just do a final touch on the card. And as I said, this is a Mother's Day card. So I'm using one of the flash cards from the Idea-ology collection. And there's some great words on this set, including the word mother, and that's what I chose to use on my card. So I did adhere the flash card with some foam tape just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then finally I added just a couple more butterflies as accents. So I hope that I have given you some ideas for your Mother's Day card this year. And if you have a chance, check out the collage paper. It really is beautiful. I will leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the card, along with the links to the store. If you've enjoyed the video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up. And if you have a chance, feel free to check out my personal YouTube channel over at Tailor Made Cards for You. There will be a link to my channel below. And if you've enjoyed the card, I would sure appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Also, I really enjoy reading your comments, so if you'd like to leave a comment below, feel free to. Let me know if you've tried the collage paper yet and what you think of it. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by at Scrapbook.com, and we'll see you again next time. Have a great day.